Good morning, everyone. If you're like me and you love animal shows and discovery shows, well, you must have followed the Netflix show called Our Planet. This is certainly a must-watch Netflix show because it shows you not only the animal kingdom and the nature, but also shows man's impact on nature and the animal kingdom. And by watching this show, it taught me that the majority of an animal's life on Earth is actually spent on their quest for food and fresh water. And then it made me think, had humans not advanced scientifically, had there not been the advent of the industrial agriculture revolution, we would also perhaps need to roam to watering holes in the Congo, sharing in a communal drinking hole, and bathing with the animals of the forest, because we are animals after all. Instead, we are locked up in our high-rise condos, buying microwavable food and bottled water from convenience stores, thereby not only threatening our own existence and health, but destroying habitats and livelihood for thousands of other species. As a space enthusiast, I'm sure I was really happy to hear the news. I'm sure you've heard about it too, of the first ever direct picture of a black hole that was unveiled this Wednesday. And the reason I'm talking about it is that this is great news. We were able to photograph a black hole. Its mass and powerful gravity casting a shadow against the bright hot gas. And some said that it looks like the devil's grin, smiling devilishly upon us earthlings. Perhaps that the end is near. So if scientists in the world and myself were giddy to finally get a chance to see one of the most mysterious objects in the universe, scientists are further from a breakthrough with their other mission, that is, to find life on other planets. As it scours the universe for signs of life, NASA has this mission statement: follow the water. So about 70% of the human body is made of water. We know this. And 70% of the Earth's surface is also covered in it. Water creates an environment that sustains and nurtures plants, animals, and human beings, making Earth a perfect match for life in general. So if water is a proxy for life itself, it's perhaps not surprising that worries about the health and availability of supplies of water on Earth can take on apocalyptic overtones. So imagine a scorching, arid future marked by a fierce, bloody struggle for a few drops of water in a kind of a dystopian fiction and filmmaking setup. Well, we are not so far from such nightmares becoming reality. The first thing to recognize is that 70% I mentioned earlier is largely irrelevant to the debate. The sea it represents is salty, and it accounts for 97.5% of all water on Earth. A further 1.75% of that percentage is frozen at the poles, in glaciers, or in permafrost. So basically, it's unusable and inaccessible. So then the world has to rely on just 0.75% of the planet's available water, almost all of which is in subterranean underground groundwater, and only 0.3% of the water on the surface can provide for the needs for our water needs. So you see that even though we think that water is abundant, the supply is actually limited in access and dwindling. However, the fundamental problems here is, as it often is the case, are neither the resource itself, since water is likely to remain abundant enough even for a more populous Earth, let's say, and the problem is also not technical. The problem is managerial, or of course more precisely, how can we withstand economic, cultural, and political pressure to mismanage water? Once again, mankind's use, or rather misuse, of water is what will lead to a series of catastrophes. Jean-Claude Juncker, President of the European Commission, put it in an entirely different context, he said, "We all know what to do, we just don't know how to get reelected after we've done it." So you see that here, mankind and its politics could jeopardize its own survival, which is, to me, a very sad thing. The present-day world provides ample examples of environmental devastation, and that should serve as a warning. That water usage has its natural limits. For example, boats are stranded aground in the middle of nowhere amid the vanished waters of what was once the fourth largest saline lake, the Aral Sea, between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. Last year, Cape Town in South Africa only narrowly averted the unwanted prize, let's say, for being the first in the world's big cities to run out of water completely. By the time rain finally broke in Cape Town, after a 3-year drought, water levels in the reservoirs supplying the city had fallen to below 20%. And officials were discussing the feasibility of towing an iceberg from Antarctica to provide melt water to drink. Another example is 4 years earlier, Sao Paulo in Brazil had almost depleted its entire reservoir to only 5%. L'eau peut apparaître comme une ressource infiniment renouvelable. Utilisé dans un bain, il peut être réutilisé, il peut arroser les plantes, par exemple. L'eau de pluie peut être récoltée ou peut s'infiltrer dans le sol pour être reconstituée. Et l'eau qui s'évapore des lacs, des piscines et des réservoirs ou transpire, soi-disant, lors du processus de photosynthèse par lequel l'eau passe dans les feuilles des plantes, rejoint l'atmosphère et sera éventuellement recyclée. Mais plus de 60% de la pluie et de la neige qui tombent sont ainsi renvoyées par, on appelle cela l'évapotranspiration. Mais comme l'eau qui a coulé dans la mer, elle ne pourra pas être utilisée tant que la nature ne l'aura pas recyclée. De plus, malgré la nature recyclable de l'eau, toujours est-il que la demande ne cesse de croître. 3 facteurs principaux seront le moteur de croissance continue de la demande d'eau. La population, la prospérité et le changement climatique. En 2050, le nombre de personnes dans le monde devrait augmenter entre 9,4 et 10,2 milliards, contre un peu moins de 5 milliards de personnes maintenant sur Terre. La majeure partie de cette augmentation se fera dans les régions du monde comme l'Afrique et en Asie, où il y a déjà une pénurie d'eau. Les gens devront mener des modes de vie où ils vont utiliser plus d'eau et ils vont souvent s'installer dans les zones urbaines, souvent des endroits déjà très exposés au risque de pénurie d'eau. Il y a aussi la question d'accès à l'eau. Les personnes considèrent l'accès à l'eau comme un droit fondamental. Et partant de ce principe, l'eau est une ressource qui devrait être disponible en fonction des besoins plutôt que de la capacité ou de la volonté à payer. Cela rend difficile donc la tâche de mettre un prix sur l'eau, ce qui encourage en son tour une utilisation abusive. Même ceux qui seraient disposés à réduire leur consommation au profit des générations à venir pourraient ne pas savoir à quel point ils consomment d'eau. Ils le consomment principalement que par le biais de boire ou de se laver, mais ils ne considèrent pas l'eau qui est utilisée pour l'agriculture ou encore les vêtements qu'ils doivent laver, donc la fabrication et l'entretien des vêtements qu'ils portent. En effet, la plus grande incertitude dans la projection de la demande future réside dans l'estimation de la quantité nécessaire pour l'agriculture, qui représente actuellement 70% des prélèvements d'eau, principalement pour l'irrigation. Certains prévoient une forte augmentation de la demande, la production alimentaire devant augmenter pour nourrir une population croissante. D'autres, tels que l'OCDE, ont prédit une légère baisse de l'utilisation de l'eau pour l'irrigation grâce à une réduction des pertes et à une augmentation de la productivité. The third factor, still less predictable, is the impact of climate change. The scientific consensus is that the process will be like a giant magnifying glass, so making all of our current challenges even more extreme. Wet places will become wetter and dry places drier. The world's water endowment is already highly unequal. Just 9 countries account for 60% of all available fresh supplies. China and India have about 36% of the world's people, but only 11% of its freshwater. Climate change will exacerbate this inequality. And rainfall, such as in the South Asian monsoons, on which much of subcontinental economic life hinges, will become more erratic. Climate change, population growth, and increased prosperity are making the world's water woes more urgent. So this is the end of the first part. If you want to switch or take a break, we'll go into the second part.